Well, welcome back to News Channel 7, today's Worldwide Wednesday, where we're talking about hot topics on the internet.
Yep. And obviously, since we had primary election voting last night, and we're doing Worldwide Wednesdays today where we talk internet, could you guys guess kind of what the topic is?
Mia, you go first.
Well, she knows.
I know.
All right, well, let me just ask the question for you guys. So, how are elections influenced by social media? And specifically, I want to talk about your guys' experience where, I mean, social media just dominates everything we do nowadays. So, just want to hear your thoughts on it.
I feel like that social media can play a huge role in influencing the youth when it comes to the vote, and especially, I mean, with this governor race, if you paid attention to some of the social media that James Fishback was doing, all of his collaborations, all of his posts on social media influenced, I feel, a lot of the youth around Florida, and drove him. I didn't see the count, but I'm sure he had played a major impact.
I believe it was he had 10%
10%
of the vote. Should I go and look?
Which he was a small playing candidate in this race. Yeah. He wasn't that well known going into this. So
I can check on our website real quick.
Well, to that point, that's kind of who I was thinking of when I was when we were kind of brainstorming Worldwide Wednesdays, because again, and I was just talking with Matt Hoffman, he was saying that he had a lot of the younger vote in that a lot of them were aware of him, and I wonder how much of that comes from name recognition and social media presence, where I think the more that you kind of see someone, the more you're likely to maybe end up choosing them. There's a word for it, not conditioning, but it's just being in that space in facial recognition, I guess.
Influencing, I guess, right?
Yeah, influencing as well. But it was funny because I think one of the I'm very active on Twitter, and my Twitter tends to be very political from my background before coming to News Channel 7. So I've always kind of been in that polosphere, and so then being on Twitter, I saw a lot about James Fishback, and it was funny because I expect to see that on my Twitter anyways. My TikTok, however, is a sacred space where that is like very much my own thing going on, and I started to get videos of James Fishback, and I've got to say the one that stood out the most to me was there's a streamer, and I'm not even super familiar with what the purpose of his content is. I know he does some gaming, but most of the times that I've seen his content come across my feed, it's very much him being out and about and just talking with people. But I believe it's Speed.
I show Speed, yeah.
Speed.
I saw a video of him where he's walking, and all of a sudden, you hear like someone go like, I don't know if he called out to him or what, but he turns and he goes, "I'm James Fishback," and starts to kind of give his spiel in the middle of Speed's stream. And I don't know what the circumstance was that they ran into each other, but talk about reaching a younger audience.
I think Speed is at least a top 3 streamer.
Yeah.
And I mean, we talked about
of all time. I would say.
Oh, interesting. I was just saying by numbers, but yes, yeah. I would also agree where he's up there. And we were discussing last week about how there was this like Minecraft challenge, right? Whatever. Yeah. I think they peaked at over 100,000 viewers per person, I think. Because they were, Speed and Kaisenat were both streaming individually.
That's another
so
one.
They weren't joint streaming.
Yeah.
So they were each streaming on their own thing. And I believe when they were kind of getting towards the end of this challenge, like over 100,000 people were watching on each stream. That is a giant scope of influence right there. So like you were saying, of just a top 3 streamer being able to stream to that many people, and then you have candidates walking by, like they're going to make some sort of influence.
Yeah, there's that aspect of it. Someone else that I want to talk about briefly, and then I have another point about elections and social media, but The other one is Mamdani.
Yes.
My goodness, he is all over social media. And I feel like he definitely got a lot of that young vote there. And it's been so funny because I don't live in New York City. I haven't paid a whole lot of attention because it's one of those things where I don't have any control over it. So there's no reason for me to really dive into that. I'm not going to New York City anytime soon. But I've seen, again, a lot of TikToks about him. You know, I even saw, after we went and saw Spider-Man, I saw a lot of comments about, like, why wasn't Mamdani in it? Like, if anything, he would have fit in the movie. And it's interesting to hear those perspectives about a politician that I just frankly don't know too much about.
Right. I think it's the best way to get personable with someone. And I think that's also kind of like how presidential elections and campaigns have been evolving throughout, you know, our U.S. history.
The White House TikTok
Yeah.
makes edits now?
Yeah, they do. They do.
Like using like pop songs.
Pop songs, just popular memes as well. It's crazy.
It is crazy. I'm so amused by them. And there is like, okay, we're getting a message from producer Abby. Will you say that one more time? The Department of Transportation posted about Coco Melon to Kodak Black.
What?
That sounds like the way that I'm getting producer Abby in my ear and then repeating it out reminds me of like a weird game of telephone. But that's the info there.
Bar for bar, what she said?
Yes. That's basically. I actually think she said a little bit more, but
that is crazy.
I got out the details that you need to know.
Which goes to my point of when back in like the early 1900s, you're campaigning to people who could only see you, and then like radio became big, and that was the big form of media.
Fireside chats.
What is it?
Fireside chats.
Explain.
I
haven't heard this term.
Okay, I think this is FDR. I always get, this is really, really bad. Sometimes I get things from FDR and Teddy mixed up, but I think it's FDR where he started doing the fireside chats, which was like radio and just kind of wanting to reach, wow, that's actually really, that was a really good point. But he that was his way of reaching out to the people, was being conversational.
Right. Yeah, 100%. So you have radio, and then when TV and just you could broadcast nationally, not just regionally, that was a huge deal. And I remember in my film class back in college, we watched a documentary on JFK and how he specifically used broadcasts in his campaign, and he was one of the first ones to really like put that as a priority.
A lot of his speeches are recorded, and if anyone has a father like mine, then you've heard them too many times.
Right.
A last point that I want to make having to do with social media and elections is kind of and I don't really want to misspeak here, so I'm going to be a little bit vague, that I know that there was a social media parent company that I believe was in a lawsuit at a point in time for issues with censorship having to do with elections, that there were allegations of time where different political candidates or different rhetoric was being censored, and it has to do with free speech and that being kind of a danger on social media. Not free speech being a danger, but it being a danger maybe to voters and viewers and social media users not being able to receive the full amount of information because it's being censored.
I'm with you. And so, to slightly go off that point too, I think AI on social media now is going to be a big problem. Deepfakes, which are just, you know, videos of someone's face that look decently real now, depending how expensive it was, right? But it's a scary thing where maybe in like 10 years' time, you could just see a video floating on the internet, and with our technology just increasing exponentially, it's going to get hard to almost decipher what's AI and what's not.
And to that point, I had seen, and this was actually during the election time, that it was a post of Stevie Nicks, and it was AI generated, and it was saying that she was supportive of Trump. And this was really interesting because Stevie Nicks is liberal, and that's kind of more well known. So I remember being sent this post and being like, oh my gosh, Stevie Nicks is supporting Trump now, and having to look at it and be like, there's no way. I go to the comments, I'm like looking at it, I'm like, no, it's AI.
It's
Wow.
It's scary. AI, I mean, we are still in the infant stages of AI, and look how far it's come since, I want to say 2021, 2022.
Well, how many of our Worldwide Wednesdays end up circling back around to AI?
It's good.
Watermarks are going to need to be a priority.
Yeah,
in the
that's
future.
true. Really, it's
Yeah.
gonna be interesting. So on Facebook, producer Evan WJHG, I want you guys to tell me your thoughts on social media as a whole, running with elections, campaigns, presidents. Like we have the ability now where a president can, just, they don't have to hold a press conference. They can post something on social media to get it out to the masses, where that wasn't a thing 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was very interesting, that direct contact.
Yeah, it
Well,
is.
thank you so much for joining our News Channel 7 Plus stream today. We'll catch you tomorrow.